Hey guys, we're on week 59 of the Geek Week in Review. Stay tuned.
The Geek Week in Review. Hello and welcome back to the Geek Week in Review, week 59 with me, Jacob's Toys. Of course, the wonderful one and only SuperSorrell and our good friend Ryan Speaks Geek. Please do check out the website below, geekweekinreview.co.uk, and give all those follows and likes and stuff on the socials. As you can probably tell, I'm not in my normal location. I'm actually in Croatia, but I thought I'd dial in just because, you know, what's a week without
I mean, I'm not
talking to
saying
the
he's copying me, but, you know, like I totally did this 2 weeks back or whatever, you know.
I just want to say, right, all of us have been on vacation or holiday, whatever it is you want to call it now. And I'm the only one that's actually like dialed in live. So, just saying.
Can we just confirm why that is? It's because you have to set off the recording.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But no, it has been it worked out quite well, let's be honest, because it has been quite a quiet week following San Diego Comic Con. We got so much last week, from trailers to figure reviews, you know, and we didn't even touch on half of it, did we? We literally talked about like the Marvel and Star Wars stuff. Didn't even talk about the DC trailers and stuff that came out. There was essentially,
but we will today.
Yeah, well, I mean, the DC trailers, let's be honest, it was kind of like good Shazam, bad Shazam. Like, it was like, you know, that was like, here's the good guy version of our team, and here's the bad guy film. Like, you know, so they did put a lot of eggs in one basket, but it's, you know, it was fair enough. So what's this week going to be? Because I'm not going to hang around for most of it. I'm going to dial out in a minute, just because, as you can probably tell, it's a little bit later here for us. I tried to get like a location shot for you, but it's a bit dark, so I'm just sort of sat on a bench by a light, which isn't very. I mean, I've got a tree behind me.
I'll probably talk a little bit about Star Trek, because as we have just started recording this, it's just come up in my news, really sadly, that Nichelle Nichols has died at the age of 89.
Oh wow!
Lieutenant Uhura herself. So
wow.
We'll probably touch on a little Star Trek today.
Yeah.
Because, you know, can't not mention it. That's all I did was open my laptop to take notes, and there it was, popped up. That's sad.
Well, there we go. That's definitely a talking point. But there is loads to talk about. So I am not going to hang around for very long. I'm going to carry on. I'm going to go and actually have a drink. I don't know. Might go and find out where this music's coming from. You know, I have got kids up in the room. My wife's with them, so maybe I should go back there. But, you know, who knows? I'm outside now, you know. I can't be tamed.
She might send him back in a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
About 10 minutes in and Jake Dale's back in like, I'm God.
Yeah, my wife's kicked me out again. Actually, I don't even have got my room key on me. I don't even know where my room is. It's dark. Hello?
So that was all we had from Jacob's Toys. We never got him again.
Yeah, that was it. This might be the last recording. I'll have to do Blair Witch style. If you find this, send help. This is a proper Blair Witch, isn't it? That's a throwback. That is a throwback.
I was thinking of some kind of demon. Some scary demon. There you go.
He's out of focus. He looks like he's got a full-on, like, tash.
It does
is
like
terrifying.
You know what? While you're showing that, I've got to say, there's the light. There's not actually any like counterfeit toys or anything here at all. Like,
too legit
where I am, there's no. I even went into like the old town where we are, but there's no counterfeit toys. I don't know whether it's just kind of this part of the country or this part of the world. Like, they just don't do them, and I was really disappointed because I was hoping to kind of get something to rival that Darth Maul, but
nothing can rival this Darth Maul.
But no,
this is actually the next HasLab. I didn't tell anyone. I've got the advanced preview copy. It's this light up special edition Darth Maul.
Mate, it's a Star Wars HasLab. Let's be honest, it's not going to get backed. Like, it's not going to make it, is it?
International sabotage.
You could literally it could be like the holocron, and it wouldn't be, wouldn't get backed. But yeah, so I am going to love you and leave you. Great to see you both. Enjoy the show, and yeah, and well, we're talking anyway, so I'll talk to you guys later.
You know what? But until next time we see you, I just want to say, keep it geek.
I'm not going to get to say it. And I might pre-record it now. Keep it geek. No.
He's going to edit it out at the end, isn't it? I'm going to go, keep it, and he's going to edit.
Don't fight over it, all right? Just one of you can say it. Yeah, cool. All right then. Well, I'll catch up with you guys soon. Enjoy the rest of the show, yeah?
Get lost in dialogue, Jacob.
Yeah, I gotta go. Right, see you later.
But you won't be able to log out now. He'll be just there in the background forever.
I am the host. I have the power.
Do you know what? We didn't know who was going to end up being the host, but I think I knew deep down in my heart, because I'm still technically the new guy somehow, even though we're like a year into this thing. How that came about, I don't know.
I tell you what, I think I stopped drinking about 25 to 30 minutes ago. I scoffed some pizza 20 minutes before this panel, I can't speak. Literally watched the Lionesses win this evening.
I know. How good is that? We actually won something.
It took the women to win it, but we did it.
Bloody good match as well. I mean, talk about leaving it to the absolute last minute, like extra time, extra. Oh, just insane. It was so good to watch. But yeah, we actually won something, and now they can play football coming home, and it actually does mean something.
Yeah, I noticed as soon as the game ended, that song just came on instantly, like, it's coming home.
And it really did. Man, I know that's pretty crazy. I had the same thing in that kind of weekend. We should just do the drunk weekend review one day. We just all three of us get absolutely smashed. Just talk for that.
It was almost that time, let's put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, Jason had to supervise us, so we can just we can go nuts.
Yeah, I was
going to be the short thing. He's going to edit out everything he doesn't want to put in it, and it's going to be a 4-minute long geek weekend review, isn't it?
I was loving the fact that the week Jacob goes away just happens to be the week that nothing happens, like he planned that. We literally have nothing to talk about this evening. Nothing's happened. So, like, San Diego Comic-Con ended, and everyone is just kind of doing the whole, this is what I like about San Diego Comic-Con this week. And everyone's doing those videos, and nothing's happening.
Yeah, this is a bit of content where I stopped watching. Like, I just won't have to watch YouTube for like a couple of weeks, because it's all going to be the same videos. Going like, I'm going to talk about my highlights from the Comic-Con that I wasn't at, but here's the highlight. Or, stuff like that. And I'm just like,
How did you know what video I put up yesterday?
That's the, but I don't know. Who knows? But there is, I mean, like I said, I can't believe, I can believe, but Lieutenant Uhura passing away. I mean, 89 years old, though.
Wow.
I mean, just forget actually how long ago the original Star Trek was. Sometimes, but and what an iconic show it and the thing is, like, for me as a kid, that and Batman 66, like Adam West, like my two main things I used to watch with my dad when I was a kid. And occasionally I was allowed to stay up late to watch Red Dwarf, which is still one of the greatest underrated sci-fi programs. But yeah, Star Trek and the crazy shirts and that. So interesting, kind of weird fact. Do you remember the Heaven's Gate thing? Where all those people took their own lives, so they thought you're part of the UFO cult. One of the people in that cult was Uhura's brother, Nichelle Nichols' brother. There you go. So there's your random morbid fact of the day. Morbid fact of the day.
Nichelle Nichols, was the first interracial kiss on television.
Yes.
She was the first leading black lady on television. She had a crazy career, really. When you think about Star Trek, Star Wars, came later with the whole interracially thing. But Star Trek was from the very beginning. It was all about inclusion and
you had Sulu, obviously, Chekhov, Uhura, and Alien.
Very diverse cast at the time. But the 1960s America as well. It's 1960s America we're talking. That's a very diverse cast.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the kind of thing, though. You don't see much utopian sci-fi anymore. It's normally dystopian. Whereas Star Trek is actually utopian sci-fi. It's the idea that humans, which is, let's be honest, is never going to happen, are stop being petty and not racist for like 5 minutes and actually work together and everything. But it's weird how that is probably the most fiction part of it. The spaceship isn't even the most science fiction part of it anymore. It's probably the idea that everyone's actually nice to each other. That's the science fiction bit. No, that never happened.
But yeah, she'll be definitely missed and remembered. Definitely.
Yeah. True. I think I'm gonna have to bust out the Star Trek movie box set. I think, or even just watch some classic episodes. I think maybe. If I get through Will Shatner's, I might put Will Shatner's spoken word records on. Said no one ever. Or you could put. You forget was it Leonard Nimoy had a single. Have you heard the Bilbo Baggins song?
The Bilbo Baggins song?
Oh my God, Geek Weekend Review just got interesting. So, Leonard Nimoy did a song called The Ballad of Bilbo Baggins. This got released. This was an actual thing. I know it's one of the first, when you type in Leonard Nimoy on YouTube, it's one of the first things that auto-populate. So I know what you're thinking, people. What possible way can we make the Geek Week stand out? What can we add to your lives?
Oh my God.
I will never, ever accept that the Geek Week doesn't bring entertainment to everyone.
That is like a bad acid trip.
The bravest little hobbit of them all.
Well, I know what I'm watching after this podcast ends.
Yep, there you go. So there we go. The Geek Week in Review, adding education and fulfillment to everyone's lives. But yeah, so they all had weird little extra careers, but that was his little foray into singing. Leonard Nimoy.
So a couple of things that are coming up this week that we should mention really is Lightyear is going to be coming to Disney Plus on August the 3rd.
I'm looking forward to that because I missed it in the cinema and I really wanted to see it.
A lot of people did. Disney sent out a little email the other week saying, did you go to the cinema to see Lightyear, or are you waiting for it to drop on Disney Plus? They kind of sent a little poll out via email, and they're trying to gauge whether people were going to the cinemas or waiting for the Disney Plus drops, which I thought was quite interesting. I'm guessing most people, so I did the same thing. I was like, it looks a good film, but I'm not rushing out to see it. But if it drops while I'm working at home and it's on Disney Plus, I'll watch it.
I did want to enjoy it on the big. I mean, I'm a sucker. I like to see things on the big screen. Always do. And that actually, so on that same vein as so Lightyear coming on the 3rd, what's coming on the 5th to Disney Plus, and it's the thing I'm most disappointed about not even getting a cinema release. It's Prey, the new Predator film.
I forgot about Prey. Yeah.
5th of August. I'm going to watch it on the day because I'm really excited for it. But it's not getting a cinema release. I'm absolutely gutted. But I found out really late. I only found out like a few weeks ago. They kept it really quiet about it only being straight to Disney Plus, and I think it's a real shame. But the early reviews have said it's the best Predator film since the first one.
Yeah, so in America it's being dropped on Hulu, isn't it? And in the UK and Europe they're getting it on Disney Plus.
Hulu.
Yeah, but it does look good. Like it looks like Native Americans, isn't it? And sort of versus the Predator, which bodes well because obviously they've got no mechanical equipment to go after him with. It's literally spears and knives, and but that's how Arnie outsmarted it in the end, isn't it? By covering himself in mud and using primitive tools. So it should be very interesting.
We can kill it. So I've got high hopes for it.
Yeah, me too. I love the Predator, so I'm really hoping it does well. Especially after the last couple of Predator films, they were okay, but
you know what? They get hated, but I kind of really like. I've really enjoyed all of them.
It's still a Predator film, isn't it? At the end of the day, you kind of go, I hate it, but it's Predator.
Do you know what, the last one I couldn't get? One of my favorite film genres is having a big group of people that get picked off one by one. There's, and it's a ragtag group of blah blah blahs, against the odds and that stuff. So when people were saying about it, everyone hated it. I came out of the movie. Me and my mate John went to go see it. John, who was on the show, and we went to go see it. We came out. We're like, oh, that's awesome. That's great. Look, a couple of bits of it, with that because it was just that. Oh, right. I go. And then the reviews came out. And we're like, oh, wow, okay. We are definitely a minority in this group. But yeah, so I'm gutted it's coming out on that. I mean, because we're getting a Alien series, obviously that's in development.
Yeah.
A TV series, which should be quite good. But it has been confirmed it's nothing to do with the Promethean storyline. So it's not to do with Alien, Covenant, or Prometheus.
I'm glad
David.
about that, to be fair. I liked Alien up until the point of Prometheus, and I didn't like that storyline, to be honest.
I liked it as a separate thing. I like them as their own movie.
As its own film, it was enjoyable, but as a part of the Aliens sort of canon and franchise, I'm kind of like, eh.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I don't think it was even really meant to be that linked to Alien. That's the thing. It was meant to be its own thing. But I think Ridley Scott said that, everyone just kept going on going, oh, so it's linked to Aliens. In the end, I think Alien Covenant, he was just like, yeah, fine, okay, yeah, it's Alien Covenant, whatever. They just sort of gave in to people going constantly so is it connected to Alien? How is it connected to Alien? Is it the same one from Alien? He was like, fine, it's Alien, fine.
I'm really hoping at some point somehow Disney Plus manages to pull off Alien versus Predator properly. Because if anyone's got the budget to pull it off, it's got to be Disney Corporation, surely.
Yeah, I mean, I would love for them to do the storyline from the comics where it had can't remember what her name is, but she becomes a
Predator.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember her name either, but I know who you mean. The Japanese lady that basically dons the Predator mask herself and stuff.
Yeah, because they accept her into the group. I mean, I want them to do that Alien versus Predator storyline, because that's a really awesome one. Like you said, on a Disney Plus series, an 8-part or 10-part series would work really well there. I do think it is better we have these series now, because I think there's more chances of things like that happening because there are big series like that than there were. Like you said, you try and cram it into a film, doesn't work as well. I mean, they're still guilty pleasures of mine, both the Alien versus Predator films. They are, I'll chuck them on. And but yeah, I think now that we've got the Disney Plus series and stuff like that, I do feel like we could probably have more scope for a bigger story when it comes to Alien vs. Predator, because there's a huge universe there to explore in the comics and stuff like that, and in the books. Such a huge universe. Yeah, I'm just looking over my Alien graphic novels now. I'm just looking at all the different. that'd be a good one. That'd be a good story. That'd be a good one.
And of course, there is another big drop on the 5th of August as well on Disney Plus. Do you remember what that was?
I don't. What was it?
Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation.
Oh, is that out?
That's out on the same day, August 5th. We've got a good few films coming out this week to watch.
Well, that's going to be a busy one.
Weird Al Yankovic singing the theme song. That's what we all want.
That is. He did some great track for the Transformers '86 movie called Dare to Be Stupid. There's a nuts track, and they even got him Weird Al to voice Wreck-Gar and stuff in later different series they did as well. But there's a Weird Al biopic coming out with Daniel Radcliffe playing Weird Al.
Oh God!
No, it looks great.
Harry Potter played Daniel Radcliffe. No, I know what I'm saying. I know what I'm trying to say.
Daniel Radcliffe, played by Harry Potter. The thing is, old Daniel Radcliffe, though, is getting this reputation for playing weird characters. And I've seen him do some really weird stuff, but he's brilliant at it. And I actually think, he actually loves that little niche he's got. But I think he's a really good actor. And when he does weird stuff, I think he just goes nuts with it because he just can. Because he loves doing it. And that's why I think it works for Weird Al. And when you see what he looks like and everything, it's pretty spot on. Yeah.
I can't imagine him with big bouncy hair.
The funny thing is, I was looking forward to 2 biopics this year, and I didn't ever think I'd say this sentence, but I was really looking forward to the film about Elvis and the film about Weird Al. That is the randomest combination. Yeah, I know, right? Oh, the duet we always wanted but never got to see. I actually got a vintage Star Wars Grail of mine this week.
Ooh, what'd you get?
So, cast your mind back to the world of Kenner playsets. So, obviously, Kenner had quite a few places where it was just a plastic base and a cardboard background, which actually would work really well now if they started doing stuff like that, but for some reason they're not. Because, Hasbro don't like to listen to us because we're only the big buying it. Why would we want to have an opinion? So, back in the good old days of Kenner, they had those. They had one called the Land of the Jawas. And so, interestingly, it was a playset which had its usual base and everything like that, okay, and the cardboard backdrop that you had to put together. And it also had the very first mini rig, which are those little vehicles obviously used to have one or two people. And it had the escape pod.
Ooh.
So this is a vintage. It is the escape pod that R2 and C3PO are escaping from the Tantive 4.
Wow.
But it was available in things. And so they're easy to get in the US. They're not as easy to get in the UK, but not for a reasonable price anyway.
Mm.
So for like 20 years, I've been trying to obtain this little item. And then Nerdbase had one, and I told my friend Dave about it. He was like, "I'm actually on my way to Nerdbase," and I was like, "Please go in there and acquire the sacred relic for me."
So is that Kenner or is that Palitoy then?
This is Kenner.
Would that be Kenner?
To my knowledge, this is Kenner, because I think the Palitoy one didn't have that and was much more cardboard based, because so you had it a few times. So like Palitoy Landspeeder, for example, had less components in it, and like versus the Kenner one, which had more kind of complex bits in it and stuff like that. So the whole Palitoy versus Kenner thing is really interesting. So Kenner's Droid Factory, for example, vintage one, had a big molded plastic base and things like that, and the Palitoy one was like a cardboard one, but still very cool design. So there's a lot of kind of back and forth between the two, and it's interesting. Action Force was their line as well, which was like the G.I. Joe thing in the UK that Palitoy did. But nearly every single one of those things, like when they did the 3/3/4 inch, the vehicles and stuff actually are cross-use for vintage Star Wars. So I've got some great things lined up, like for like play sets and custom vehicles and stuff like that. Like, it's like a snow sled I've got. I'm like, oh, welcome to Hoth. Hello. But yeah, I'm a sucker for crossing old school lines like that, but also for head swaps and stuff like that, because they actually look like, there's one that's like an SAS, like Navy diver, and he's got like a black head, like almost looks like in a wetsuit. But if you head swap it and put that on like a body of like a scout trooper, it just looks like he's taking the helmet off, because obviously they've got that black headdress bit on.
Yeah.
And it's little things like that. It works so well. So well.
So while we're talking old school figures, this week I got a really old Zuckus.
Oh, or is it Forlom?
Well, Forlom, I'm guessing it was back then.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great little figure.
It's all its paint rubbed off and stuff, but yeah, little vintage figure there. And I got this guy. I don't know who this is, but I got this guy.
That's Ree.
Ooh. I just knew he was old school, and I thought he's going to go in my cantina because he's really like a weird little monster.
The vintage Star was obviously where I live my life, living my best life. But that's a Ree 3 figures. Barada. That is from the Power of the Force 2/3 pack that they did with Nikto, Barada, and
and that guy.
Did you get Class 2 as well?
No, I just got the 2 out of the 3, but I didn't think for £4 each. I was like, yeah, I'll have that.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good value.
Yeah, £4 each. Still. Yeah, because they both came with their accessories that I'll have that, and they've come off someone's cabinet, and that's about it. The joints are stiff. They've never been really used before. Everything's brand new. Excellent. The paint apps are absolutely immaculate on them as well.
Yeah, people always dismiss the Power of the Force 2 line from the 90s, but there were some great figures in there.
I love the Power of the Force line. It's one of my favourite go-to lines.
When I was a kid, that was obviously the one that was new in shops.
Mm.
So, and I used to have like my vintage, what's now known as vintage Star Wars. I used to call them originals and the other ones news. So when me and my mum would go out finding Star Wars, like news is what's in the shops. And it was like, and the ones you got in the second-hand market, they were the originals. We've got originals, more originals. Yeah, Reese is the 3-eyed Cyclops type kind of character. Triclops actually would be the proper term, I would imagine. But yeah, Reese is the character, and the species is a Gand, if I'm Gand or Grand. And funny, Mark Silk, who is obviously the current voice of Scooby-Doo and did all the Boss Builder in America and stuff like that. He was the voice of one of the Gand in Star Wars Episode 1 Phantom Menace. Random little factoid there. See, educational show.
Did you see that? Obviously, Harley Quinn season 3 has been officially announced and stuff, and it's definitely happening.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
We're gonna get more Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. It's
such a good series. It really is. It is. Like just one of the best. It's one of the best things about out of DC that no one. It's weird. It's obviously popular enough to get some series, but no one ever thinks about it.
Yeah, it's one franchises that. Yeah, it's one thing that it's like popular enough to get a 3rd season, but nobody's talking about it. It's the weird thing, isn't it? Yeah, I love it.
It's great. Like genuinely go. The problem is a lot of time with DC stuff is getting it to see it over here. So Young Justice is one of my favorite DC animated series. The Young Justice is impossible to see over here. They had season 1 and 2 for ages on Amazon, but season 3 onwards, they've never aired them in the UK. And then they're like, you're going about like viewing figures. I'm like, well, view it in the UK, and then you'd probably get some viewing figures. It's like an odd thing. It's just not, because we didn't get that DC streaming service, obviously.
Yeah. We didn't get the streaming service, and that's where a lot of it is. Yeah, it's the DC Universe Infinite, or whatever it's called. We never actually got that here in the UK, so it's making some things hard to find.
Yeah, I mean, Swamp Thing went to Amazon, didn't it? And that was the live action Swamp Thing series was really good. It was really good, and we're not going to get any more of that.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that like more of these programs didn't just like choose one supplier like Netflix or Amazon because like with Amazon at the minute they do their thing where you can subscribe to a channel, don't they? Like I've got a subscription to Shudder, of the horror subscription.
Nice.
But like, I'm surprised that DC didn't just shove it on there for the UK and make it that way so that you could upload it all, then just have it all on Amazon. That would be the easiest one, surely.
Yeah, like a DC channel. But yeah, it would have made a lot more sense because like even like Doom Patrol, for example, another amazing underrated DC series, live action one. That you got to watch that through Stars Play, which is a channel to buy through. Not to be confused with Stars on Disney Plus, which is something different. Because apparently there's no original names for streaming things now. I mean, Shudder is a really good series, like good. That's got a good catalog on it. And they've got. Are they doing their own multi cinematic universe thing? Shudder.
Probably.
I mean, I read some of it. They're doing their own sort of film. They're going to make like their own sort of movie series, and they're all going to be like connected in like a bit of a Marvel type thing, because that's what everyone wants to do now. Obviously.
That'll be good. Shudder's awesome though. I love Shudder because like they brought back Elvira and stuff like that for the 40th anniversary on Shudder, and they pay homage to old school horror on there, which is what I like. They always have these like random horror hosts and things like that on there, and that's what I'm into.
Yeah, it's like it reminds me of like old school, like when you used to stay up late to watch horror films. You didn't know what horror film was going to be on, but Channel 5 or 4 would have like a horror film at like be like past midnight or something sometimes, and you could sneak up and stay up late, or and I miss those kind of old ones. I mean, me and Caroline, like my wife, I mean, we've been watching the classic universe, been having a great time watching them. What I think it's a bit sad. Not many of those properties seem to get handled with much dignity anymore. Yeah. Except The Invisible Man, actually, that one was pretty. That was pretty decently done recently.
It was very close to the original as well. But yeah, Creepshow is on Shudder. That's the reason I ended up subscribing, was for Creepshow, and then from there I've just literally dived into everything else they have, and there's not one thing on there I haven't enjoyed. Let's put it that way.
Awesome. I think I'm going to have to give it a go soon, because we're ever trying to catch up on absolutely everything else. It's just like, how do you even start? Like, if you pick another streaming service, that's a whole nother catalog. That's a whole nother,
there's so much to watch.
Shudder, because I love my horror films and stuff like that. If I go into Shudder, I know that is a rabbit hole of which I won't get out of.
But where else will you find films with names such as The Forbidden Photos of the Lady Above Suspicion? Where else would you find that?
The thing is about that, it just rolls off the tongue. It's just like, it's quick, it's there. It's edgy. That's where I want them to say the film title in the film. That's where it'd be impressive. They have slightly look into camera as well.
Yeah, they've got such amazing films like Hellbenders. They're going to hell, so you don't have to. I just love all the names of the films. They're all B-list horror, but I love them.
Yeah, but you get some great ones. One of my favorite little sort of horror B movies that I've got on DVD. So I used to go into H&B and do like the 5 for 10 or whatever in the DVD in the horror section. Flight of the Living Dead. And I tell you what, but it's when those films, like you clear out your DVDs or whatever every now and again, and you have that pile of ones that definitely going. The Flight of the Living Dead always goes in the potentially go pile. I'll rewatch it, and it somehow survives. It survived now for about 10 years. I've gone to get rid of it, and I can't bring myself because it's still actually weirdly entertaining. Like it's just it's so good, but it's so bad, and it's just if anything, the title alone makes me happy. Flight of the Living Dead. It's just so it's like snake. Imagine snakes on the plane, but done worse. And that's a really hard sentence to say, but that's basically what we got.
Oh mate, but yeah, Shudder's just one of them. It's one of the things where I can just turn it on and I'll always find something mental to watch. Like whoever, I'm sorry, but whoever in Japan basically went, you know, the girl from The Grudge, yeah. You know, the girl from The Ring, yeah. Well, ding ding, let's get it on. Like, there's no reason for them to fight, but fuck it, just go for it.
Is there actually a thing with them fighting?
Yeah, it's the original. It's like the people who made Rings and the people that made Grudge. It's the original versions from Japan, and they've basically made a new horror film where them two just go out for no reason. Like the girl from The Ring, they play the tape in the house where the Grudge kid lives. So then like the kid from The Grudge watches the television and is going to die in 7 days. And I'm scratching my head because it is that mental of a story to get your head around. So the Grudge kid watches the television, he's going to die in 7 days, and then Samira comes out the television to get him. Yeah, but you kind of go, you sit there going, that makes no sense, but I need to see this.
It was that Jackie Chan meme, isn't it, where he's like that?
There's a whole scene where they're crawling around the room, like all upside down and like beating the living shit out of each other, but I like it.
Oh yeah, I kind of need to see this. I mean, I'm a sucker for a crossover, as you know, by my Justice League versus Power Rangers comics and stuff like that, but yeah, I need to see that. Do you know, there was interestingly, so you know there was like Freddy versus Jason, and now there's Ring versus Grudge, which is great. There was meant to be Candyman versus Leprechaun, as in like the the Warwick Davis thing. So that was the next planned sort of spin-off, like crossover. And the reason it didn't go ahead in the end was because the guy who plays Candyman was like, no, I actually really respect this character, and this will just turn it into like a comedy thing. I was like, I kind of, as much as I did want to sort of see it, I'm like, I do kind of respect that a little bit.
Yeah. I like the fact that he's got a little bit of integrity in life. Warwick Davis was like, do it.
Yeah, Warwick Davis was like, I've already signed up. You know, I have got the Leprechaun box set, which includes Leprechaun 4, Leprechaun into Space.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Leprechaun in the Hood was far enough for me.
And then there's Back to the Hood. It's the Hood, not just the Hood. It's Leprechaun 2, Back to the Hood.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah. That one's not as easy to get hold of though on for some reason. That's a little rare gem to try and fish out. But there are some films, right, that are like kind of I always think horror films which are sort of underrated. But there's a great one which is Jamie Lee Curtis absolutely hates it because she's in it, and this is the film she gives out at parties when they say this is the worst film you've ever seen. And she's like, no, this is, and she gives out copies of it as revenge to people apparently. But it's called Virus. Which is actually a Dark Horse comic series. So, but did you ever play Quake 2?
Yeah.
So Quake 2 and 4 are like that same story, and the idea of that the mechanical things, but you know, they harvest human parts and make these horrible replacements, like things like that. That's basically what Virus is. So Virus is set on like a ship, like a Russian ship, and some salvagers find it, but the crew have been like taken over by this computer virus that then takes over the ship, kills the crew, and then uses the crew to make these sort of technogenic, horrible horror things. And you know, it's about trying to survive the ship. But it's great fun. It really is. Like I would really recommend, if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's a guilty pleasure, but it's the closest I think to what if the potential for a Quake 2 movie could have looked like with the Strog. Because there's so much of that. Because I still think Quake 2 is an underrated franchise. I got really excited. It was on Steam, Quake 2. And I was like, I got so excited. I bought it. It was like £4 or whatever. I was like, I can't wait to play Quake 2 again on the PC. And it doesn't work. I think I've got to do some kind of, Minority Report screen magic with DOS boxes and stuff like that. And I just don't understand what that stuff. So I've got a disc somewhere that they gave away free with the Xbox 360 copy of Quake 4. They gave an Xbox 360 edition of Quake 2 free in a little baggy type thing, like inside the case. And I have got that. So I think I'm going to have to dig that out because that's my only way to play it now is on a weird port on the Xbox.
Did you ever get around to watching The Leprechaun Returns? The 2018 movie.
I haven't watched it yet. It's on my list. It's up there.
It was one of them films that even Warwick Davis went too far.
Wow. If he said too far.
I believe, I'm not sure if it's the first or second time since they replaced him as the Leprechaun, basically. So Leprechaun Returns does not feature Warwick Davis. I mean, he was even in the Hood one. So I mean, if he's saying that's enough, then that's enough.
Wow. There is a limit. Who would have known?
I know, but the best part is Jennifer Aniston's in it. That's the best part. That's when you know she's desperate for money, because she's denied this whole franchise, hasn't she, for years. And then all of a sudden she's in the latest one. So I mean,
is she actually?
Yeah, she has a guest appearance in it. So
they must have paid her so. I bet that's where the whole film's budget went on her cameo.
Probably. It's probably why they could afford Warwick. We'll get Jennifer. Screw Warwick.
Yeah,
but he's the Leprechaun. Fuck it.
Yeah, but this is Jennifer Aniston. For 5 seconds of screen time, probably.
And if you want to go look up the Japanese version of Ring versus Grudge, it is got the most weird name of, because obviously it's Japanese, but it's Sadoku versus Kayako.
Oh yeah, there it is. How did I not know this exists?
I know. It's one of them gifts that keeps giving.
I'm looking at some of the screen grabs when I go onto image search, and I'm like, already that's.
There's a bit.
This might be the greatest thing since Anaconda versus Lake Placid.
There's a bit where the Grudge kid basically does the weird purring noise at the ring girl, and she just basically goes back at him, and it is the most satisfying piece of television you've ever seen in your life. Two weird little ghost things from Japan going on the ceiling of some apartment.
Now that's a TikTok. How's your day going? Done. There you go. That's a TikTok. 50 billion views. Done.
I'm just really surprised that Hollywood haven't gotten onto that film and gone, we'll make a Western version, because obviously The Grudge is a dying franchise. The Grudge is a dying franchise. The last Rings film was terrible. They had to get Leonard from Big Bang Theory in it. It still didn't work. And so, I mean, I'm really surprised that Hollywood haven't gone, hang on, we'll do this for Western television.
It's not far away. They're probably listening to this and you're giving ideas. They're writing it down. Like I said, we had Lake Placid versus Anaconda. So yeah, that happened. That was a fantastic box. I mean, I'm just the horror crossover fans. I mean, there was actually one where there was going to be Jason and Hellraiser, I think. Like Jason goes to hell and then goes to Hellraiser, and then it was going to be Freddy versus Jason versus Hellraiser. I think was the planned sequel to Freddy versus Jason, but then that never materialized. But that would probably work more. I mean, the Hellraiser films. I mean, there was actually like 13 or something stupid like that of Hellraiser films.
Yeah, there was going to be that. There was going to be that whole thing where it isn't the said that Jason's basically one of the Hell Spawn or something, Hell something.
Yeah,
he's one of the demony things that comes out of the box.
Demonites or something, I think they're called, aren't they? I'm trying to remember because there's just so many. Yeah. I'm trying to remember how many there are now. Now I'm like going, right, okay, could do this. I can work this down. There's been a couple recently that have died miserable deaths that have tried to recapture it and just failed. Here we go. We have got speech. Hellraiser, Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth, Hellraiser Bloodline, Hellraiser Inferno, Hellraiser Hellseeker, Hellraiser Deader, Hellraiser
no.
Hellworld, Hellraiser Revelations. If you're ever in doubt of a film title, just chuck Revelations on it. Hellraiser Judgment, and the now more popular thing to do, just Hellraiser again. It's like the new trend. It's just to call the thing what it was originally called. It's like the latest Scream, just Scream, but it's not. It's a sequel, but it's not. I mean, it's a little bit more straightforward, I guess, than what do you call it? Fast and Furious. Too Fast, Too Furious. Fast, Furious. Furious and Fast. Driving a lot. Fast 5, 4 Fast, Y Fast, Still Fast, Family Fast. I don't know. In space.
I love the fact that there's one just called Deader. Hellraiser, Deader.
That's just someone who was just sitting there like going, mate, we haven't got a title for this yet. Deader? Yeah, all right.
It's yeah, you can imagine some they're all sat there going, what's deader than dead? And some idiot went, deader. And then that's it, that's the word.
You know what? Keith's got it actually. Yeah, he's spot on. That is deader than dead. He's deader. So he is right. Oh god, there's just so many good franchises we could do. But so I guess we probably should touch a little bit on the fact that we had the 2 DC trailers. We had the full trailer for Shazam, Shazam 2. And I'm really looking forward to it. No, that's Black Adam.
Oh
that's
yeah, sorry, Shazam. Sorry, yeah, Shazam.
Yeah. But isn't every film with the Rock in Rock's the movie? And you know what? I'm weirdly okay with that because I just never get bored of watching him. I should do, but I just don't. He dances his eyebrow once in my head. I hear someone going, "Hey, do you smell?" But just so Shazam: Fury of the Gods, obviously the sequel to Shazam, looks really good, and the big bads are Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren's in it. Wow.
They're the 2 main villains, Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren.
It's gonna be good though.
Yeah, I crab thee not. It looks really good, funny.
I would say Helen Mirren's barely in a bad movie, but then she was in the Fast and Furious spin-off Hobbs and Shaw. So I mean,
yeah, but that was Fast and Rock.
It was weirdly likable, yeah.
Exactly, because you have basically had 2 people that are only known for being themselves, Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham.
Together.
Yeah, exactly. And but it works. Sometimes you just go like, can we just put 2 of the most sort of like comedically them people, butch guys in the movie? One guy comes and goes, "Oh, Jason Statham, I'm slightly angry about this," and the other one is just arching an eyebrow, going, "Candy ass," just perfect. But just give them a budget of like 50 million, it will sell. We need to add some legitimacy to this. Helen Mirren's about, chuck her in as well.
So Shazam, though, so we're going to be getting, obviously, at the end of the last film, all the other little kids in his house got powers, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, and they've all got updated costumes.
Oh, wow. So they are coming back, then. It wasn't just a one-off, like, comic book value. They are going to keep them in.
No, they're still the team.
Wow.
So, and all the costumes have been up. So it looks really. I mean, because I swear in some of it, because I don't know the comics as well.
No, I don't.
But I'm pretty sure at one point even the parents get like powers or something. That it becomes like the proper whole family. And then there's like a dog with a jetpack at one point as well. No, a lion with a jetpack. Sorry, a dog would have been ridiculous. No, it's a lion with a jetpack.
The only thing I remember from the comics, which hasn't aged well, obviously, is the fact that obviously Shazam is a child, but yet he has a whole affair with Wonder Woman at some point in the comic books. It's like, yes, I'm glad to stay away from that in the films because that would just be awkward.
Just gonna pop that down here.
That's gonna be some cheap joke at some point in the DCU, innit? You can imagine at some point he's gonna try and flirt with Wonder Woman and then Shazam back to being a child or something.
Sure, that's gonna be. It's a bit like in the Elvis biopic when they really skipped over when you met Priscilla Presley. They were just like, it's like it's all so detailed. And it's like, and Elvis met Priscilla, and then we sing songs. It's like, oh, okay, we're just not going to acknowledge that bit then. So maybe they'll do an Elvis, just skip over it. But the Black Adam obviously looks really good. But it is just to Rock the movie, but like angry Rock the movie.
Yeah, because it makes me right. So I've had this conversation 3 times this week. Like loads of people keep saying to me, "Do you not think it's really insensitive that he's called Black Adam and it's the Rock is the star?" And I'm like, no, because in the comic books he wasn't black.
Yeah.
In the comic books he's a white dude. But the Rock has got the role. Fair enough. I'm interested in seeing him playing the character because he looks the part. For God's sake, he's massive. If there's anyone that's built to be a superhero, it's him.
Yep.
So I'm intrigued to see him. He does genuinely look good as Black Adam. He looks the part. Yeah, it's just the name, unfortunately comes from. It doesn't come from the color of the dude. I can't believe I can say this out loud, but people keep asking me about it.
It's not 90s Power Rangers. It's a very different scenario.
I don't, because I've seen that Saturday Night Live version of Zordon far too many times.
Oh yeah, and you'll be the Mexican Ranger. You'll be the other Black Ranger.
And you're the Green Ranger because you're a Jew and you like money. Like, what? Like, no! For God's sake.
Zordon. Zordon's a racist, if anyone wants to look up that skit. So you look up that, Zordon's a racist. It's really funny and worth a watch because it does make you rewatch the original 90s parody series in a very different way.
You don't be having these conversations after 5 pints of beer and 1 cup of tea.
Absolutely not. But the funny thing is, though, Power Rangers reveals were really quiet, weren't they? Actually, at SDCC.
Very quiet. They didn't talk. They didn't really. I don't know. Did they even reveal anything?
I can't think of anything they revealed, and I didn't see anything they knew. I was kind of hoping for like maybe a re-release of the Green Ranger helmet. I mean, helmet-wise, now they've done the White Ranger. The helmet's impossible to get because they did such a small run. The Red Ranger, the Pink Ranger, would be like 20 quid now. It's just not so well. But then they've done Lord left field, which looks really cool and shiny. Lord Draken, which again looks really awesome. Then they've done the Blue Ranger as the latest one. So obviously we're still. I kind of thought we'd see a new helmet at the reveal, but there was not. So, but I know they're apparently they're doing a whole new like franchise, aren't they, with Power Rangers? So I kind of get that's what all the effort's going on.
Yeah, there's something coming to do with Power Rangers on Netflix, isn't there? There's like a whole new thing coming to Netflix. So that should be interesting. The whole
maybe, yeah,
the whole thing for San Diego was they were focusing on the Charge to 100, which is their 100th issue of Power Rangers in comics. And then there was because of the popularity of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Power Rangers crossover, they announced a sequel to that event, basically. And there's going to be another crossover with Power Rangers and Turtles. Because obviously they made a whole range of figures and all sorts out of that, and comic books and everything. So
the comics are good, man. Like, it's not like your sort of thing you grew up with. Like, the comics are sort of quite full on. Like, they're really good. So some of the ones have been like a really involved story. They're back to be. I could recommend them as well.
Yeah, I would love to see the people that handled the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus Batman animated series take on the Power Rangers and Turtles and do it in the same animation style with the Turtles and Power Rangers as well, because that would make a little franchise, wouldn't it, altogether?
It really would. I'm actually a bit annoyed that we've not seen anything about a sequel to that amazing animated film, because the post-credit, the credit scene showed that there was going to be one, but like it was honestly one of those things. I mean, I love a lot of the DC animated films. I can normally pick holes in some of them, like quite a few of them, whatever. But that one I just thought was absolutely what I wanted it to be. It was the point where the mutated Poison Ivy, you think it's going to be a big battle, and then you realise that she's rooted to the ground and can't reach them. It's like just genius. Just genius. They just walk around her. She's like, ah. All those kind of things. But that is definitely the strongest one. I'm now thinking about rewatching it. I'm going to have such a long list of watching after this.
Yeah, no, I'm saying. I literally sit. I like go through these podcasts, and then by the end of it, I'm like, I've got like a list of things to watch now. But do you ever see Catwoman Hunted? Do you ever get around to watching that one?
Not yet. I've got it it's there on the shelf. I haven't watched it yet.
See, I'm going to mispronounce her name, I'm sure, but Elizabeth Gillies, she's the voice of Catwoman in it. And her voice is perfect for Catwoman. She should play the live-action Catwoman, in my opinion.
Did you just say perfect? Did you?
I did. I actually used that. I did actually use the word perfect.
It was here first, folks. You heard it.
She's the girl that was she was the girl that was in Victorious and programs like that on Nickelodeon, basically. But she's got quite a sultry voice, so she just suits Catwoman to the ground. The way she talks, just a natural speaking voice is Catwoman. So she was absolutely spot on. She was spot on to play it.
I can see who you mean. Ooh, really good cast, and it was definitely Beatrice as Batwoman as well. Yeah, it was a Diaz from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yep,
And it's got Keith David doing a voice in it. I mean, that if you ever want to win me over, put Keith David in the voice role, and that wins me over. That's sold. Oh, it's in the original. Oh, it's the actual in that same continuity as well.
Yep.
That's quite cool. Because they got so many different DC animated films. Like you found one that actually had a big epic conclusion that was really good. So it's kind of now weird to think that there's some that aren't in that anymore. But yeah, there's what else we got? We still got Green Lantern Beware My Power is the next one. It's out apparently. Is it?
I think I've missed a few of the DC animated stuff along the way. I think the last one I watched was the Injustice movie, so I think I'm a few behind now.
So we have got in the last few. So you had the Long Halloween Part 1 and Part 2, Injustice, Catwoman Hunted, and then the next one, number 47, is Green Lantern Beware My Power. But you did have Constantine, the House of Mystery.
That's the one I've missed. Yeah, I need to catch up with that one.
It's technically a short film, but it's not. It's longer. It's done, and that's the final one in that original DC animated universe. But it takes place after, when the Flash resets it in the Apocalypse War.
Yeah.
That it's set after that. So that's the final thing. So it's worth a watch. What were the DC reveals? Because we don't. The weird thing is we talk about Marvel on here, TV and stuff, but I'm actually more of a DC fan. Like I
am deep down.
DC
especially Batman.
Yeah, there's so many good shows. I mean, and I suck for like Titans and stuff like that, and Doom Patrol and Swamp Thing. So I actually think live action ones, I think I preferred a lot of the DC. I like the dark stuff. I know people moan about it being dark, but the new Batman film as well was amazing. I saw it twice in the cinema. Don't regret
it. What DC do well is they have heroes, but they're more anti-heroes than heroes usually. Like Suicide Squad, the Doom Patrol, they're kind of heroes, but they're kind of not. And when they do comics and stuff, they're always spin-offs of like the Rogues Gallery. You always get like a Harley comic, a Joker comic, a Scarecrow comic. It's always focused around the villains, not the hero. And I like that.
Well, because this is a film. Because the one they were going to do, it's going to be on the tip of my tongue, and I forgot already. Penguin getting his own spin-off series from the
new film,
the new Batman film, which is going to be awesome. I mean, that's going to be a lot of work for old Colin to pick up every day to be a completely different person again.
Which I love the fact that he was in the film and a lot of that. Yeah, I love that a load of actors did as well. The people on set even forgot he was in it because he was that in character, and on set they didn't recognize it was him. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, that is I love that film. I could rent about how much rate that so much. God, I haven't even drunk anything today, and I'm the one who sounds drunker than you.
So just going back to Power Rangers and stuff, obviously there wasn't any announcement at San Diego. Hasbro are still holding its cards close to its chest because they've got HasCon coming up in a few weeks.
I keep forgetting there's so many cons and things.
I know. Everyone was saying the same thing about like Disney and that. It's like because they've got D23 the week after HasCon. It's like they've got their own events coming up. So like, San Diego Comic Con's a big thing, but in COVID and stuff, these other things appeared in its wake, and they're more important. I think
SDCC did seem to be smaller this year in regards to its like reveal stuff. Like I actually felt like I saw less new stuff there than I did on previous years.
One thing I think the big mistake they made is since the last Comic Con that they held, times have changed and people are now online. Like more people will tune into live streams, and they didn't live stream that much, if anything.
I thought that, I agree. I think that was a misstep on their part because the thing as well, like we can't, 99% of fans can't afford to go to San Diego.
Yeah.
And it's like, I kind of feel I don't mind having one or two panels that are exclusively for there. I get it. You have got to be some incentive, but then I don't know. It just seemed a bit like not inclusive. What's the opposite of inclusive? Like it was putting up borders between fans, going like, oh, only real fans spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars coming to this convention. You're not a real fan, so you have to wait. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, everything was very exclusive, wasn't it? Rather than
rather than inclusive, which is what it should be.
Yeah, I said to Lynn, my wife, I said the mistake they made is they could have launched on the day of a couple of days before. They could have launched the San Diego Comic Con YouTube channel, and literally they would have had 1 million followers overnight because of how popular that thing is.
Yeah.
And all the streams could have been on there, and they would have made millions overnight. I don't know why they've never done it.
And yet somehow we're the ones with less money.
Yeah.
I feel like proper in the 90s right now. I'm sitting here. I was organising my Game Boy games before.
What games you got there?
This is Sonic 3D Blast. So this it's not a real Sonic. It's not a real game. So when I was a kid and used to go on holiday, you used to get like these 32-in-1s or something like that. It's actually about 4 games. But I used to get loads of these. But when on holiday, especially like Menorca and stuff and Lanzarote. But one of them was Sonic 3D Blast, and it's this weird black and white port of one of the old Sonic games, and it's odd, but it does work, and it is kind of fun. And it just legit kind of, and then this Star Wars game, so I took these all on holiday. When I went on holiday, and it's funny, I was sitting right by the pool, and I was playing my Game Boy, and this I had my Game Boy SP, it has the backlit screen, so that's the one that plays these, and I was playing, and just one of the reps almost fell in the pool with excitement that he saw that I was sitting there playing. Everyone else was on their phones, and I'm sitting there playing my Game Boy, playing Super Mario Land 2. But all the cases, they've still got. That's the other funny thing. So they've got all the cases and like that, and then they've also still got my stickers on them from when I was a kid. So if I was about to take them to school, with my name on it. But yeah, the cases as well, and things like that. But can't go wrong with an old Game Boy game. Still good, in my opinion. I've got the Game Boy Player, which attaches to the GameCube. So when you had the GameCube, everyone used to say the GameCube's not actually a cube; it's squashed. It's because they sold the rest of the GameCube separately. So the adapter goes underneath it. You take one of the panels and you plug into the bottom, and that's what's actually got the Game Boy Player in it. Yeah, to run a disc. That makes it a cube. Educational show.
Speaking of DC, do you think you'll be going to see the DC League of Super Pets?
I actually think I will, because it looks annoyingly fun. I make no apologies. I love a lot of those kind of movies, And I think the stigma of going to see something like that has definitely disappeared thanks to Pixar. But it's just films like that. Just a lot of the time, it's in jokes and there's a lot of references, and it's just fun. And sometimes I just want to go and escape and have a bit of fun for a time, I
mean, Dwayne The Rock Johnson as Crypto and Kevin Hart as Ace the dog. You're like, yeah, I'm in.
And you got Keanu Reeves voicing actual Batman as well, which I absolutely love, because it's kind of like one of the things. He was always one of those people that people always used to joke about fan cast. And it's kind of like when they did it with Teen Titans Go to the Movies. They actually cast Nicolas Cage as the voice of Superman. So he finally got to play Superman. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, I wonder, because people always used to say about Keanu Reeves playing Batman, I wonder if that's why they put him as the voice. Because they were like, let's test him out. The coolest dude. But I know. So, the other week we were talking about the HasLab 4. If you're going to do a HasLab, we do Ewok Village, like the sort of vintage show one.
Yeah.
I thought of a fun game. I think if we could make a HasLab for the other 2 films, so one for A New Hope, it's got to be vintage collection style in 3 3/4 inch. So one for A New Hope, one for Empire Strikes Back. What would we do? And what would be the stretch goals? So we'll start with A New Hope.
The way you introduced this game was almost like a celebrity juice round. Like, I've got a game we can play.
Here's a little bit of fun for you both. I went more like Alan Carr Chatty Man then.
New Hope.
Here, it's going to be fantastic. New Hope.
When it comes to New Hope, I always want to say that's more retro though, like the original style Death Star playset. But I think retro would do that rather than vintage collection. That's more of a retro collection item because it's cardboard and that's something that I imagine Retro Line would do.
Yeah, that's more. Yeah, that's true. Now I guess it would be less HasLabby than. What about the Cantina? Because if you look at that Jabba's Throne set that's coming out, that was clearly probably meant to be a HasLab, but isn't a HasLab. I'm just wondering if you could do something that was just at the right angle, maybe just a right angle play set where you don't have to buy two. It's just that's the play set. Right angle play set, so it's just the back wall and a side wall with the bar coming out, and then just a couple of like the alcoves.
I've always said, I know this is coming off topic a little bit, I've always said I would love a modular playset. So the idea is you build it as much as you want. So like the start with the bar section, and then from there you can get the alcove where Han Solo and Greedo sit. Then you can get the stage area where the band are playing, and you slowly build and click it into place as you go.
That would be awesome.
Yes, it's like its own little diorama, but clicks into the larger playset.
A bit like when they did the trash compactor, and they did two sets of that, and then you could put them together and put them together and make that. Still after those, one day I'll get them. Yeah, that would be cool. But yeah, so I think a Cantina for it. I mean, stretch goals would be easy. Surely it'd be like what figures you include.
Yes, you'd have the band, you'd get the bartender, you'd get
Waha.
Yeah, the stretch goals for that would be easy because it would just be the characters from the Cantina characters are so synonymous with Star Wars now.
Yeah, you could probably tick a few like off the old wish list in that sort of scenario.
And have them on card back, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's probably an easy one. So A New Hope. So we obviously got the Ewok Village for Return of the Jedi. We've got the Cantina for A New Hope. What do we do about Empire?
I think Empire would have to be an 8080 just because it's so. I remember everyone loves the 8080 even to this day. The vintage 8080 is still as popular now as it was when I was a kid in the 80s. So I imagine that would go down well if they re-brought that back in the vintage collection. There you go.
He's always never far from me. I took all his guns and everything off and put them inside his head because I was worried they're going to get snapped off.
Sawthumb's Retro Games had one in York. It was complete, and they wanted 85 quid for it, and I nearly went there. Went there.
If it's got its original chin guns, that's pretty impressive.
It had everything. It was complete from like they didn't have the box, but it was complete.
As if it was out of the box. I got some. So that's my childhood one. Because again, you look in. It's in one of the foot cuffs. There it is. There's a little sticker inside it, and it's a picture of me as a child. Because you used to be able to get those little things done where you could go into, So
I remember those.
So I very carefully when I washed it or I cleaned it, and I got repro stickers for it. I got some 3D printed chin guns and a new light bulb because I just can't afford the original part, and it's not for resale or anything. It's for me. It's because I want it to be how I want it to be. So yeah, I've given it some proper love now, and now it's back to working order. I had to take the electronics apart though because they weren't working. So I've learned loads about Kenner electronics recently. So I've been taking them all apart. But there's the Imperial Troop Transport has a mini record player in it that does the voices and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's a real bugger to clean and get working again. But I got it working again. Brings me so much joy.
But yeah, I think that would definitely have to be the Empire one. Either that, like I say, for Hoth. Hoth, because of the Empire Strikes Back is Hoth, isn't it? Everyone remembers Empire Strikes Back for Hoth. So I think that would have to be the play. If you were going for more of a play set, I'd say the Wampa Cave, where you could hang Luke upside down and have a Wampa in there and stuff. That's the only thing I could think of. Like, when everyone thinks of Empire, they think of Hoth.
Yeah, because the thing is as well, like, so you've already got the carbon freezing chamber. Well, you've got most of the carbon freezing chamber. The thing is about those, they're so expensive when they came out. They're like 50 quid each or whatever. So, and obviously they come with a Stormtrooper, but you have to buy two to have the whole thing. Again, like, which just
do that.
Infuriates me. And it's not even like the hallway bit. Like the tentacle hallway looks good on its own, and it looks better if you have two or three or whatever. But it still looks really good. The half of the platform for the carbon freezing does not ever look good on it. What? Why? So anyway, but the thing is, I didn't, because I don't collect. I wanted it to put my vintage figures on, so I just waited till the inevitable happened. Vintage, on mint on card collectors would be buying one to open and one to have their curly. So I just waited until people sold them without the figures in. People were just getting them, taking the figures out, and not even looking at the playset. Look at that. Same thing with the Jabba's Palace one. The one with the two heads and everything, which included somehow an extra set of walls. I don't know how. I've never questioned it. I don't want to question it because it's really useful. But I don't have to do the sides now because I've got enough to do both. And then the Tantive 4 hallways, they went down in price on a couple of places.
Yeah.
So I took the figures out and sold the figures online, and it basically covered the cost of me buying the playset, which is mad. So now I've got my full Tantive, 2 Tantive 4s for a hallway. Your Empire is hot. Because like I said, the freezing chamber's already technically done. I mean, if you did a Cloud City, you could only, it'd have to be like the junk room with the Ugnaughts and broken C-3PO on a working line, a Han Solo torture chamber. It'd have to look like the old Brian Conley's show set, the 4 quadrants. On a different thing. It's number wang. Let's rotate the board.
If you were going to do Cloud City, they could do the dining room.
That'd make quite cool little.
Yeah, because then you could put your Vader, your Boba Fett, your Luke, your Leia, sit them all around.
I'd want a Darth Vader that was like that and had the blaster effect coming out of his hand.
Yeah.
That's the figure that should be included with that. Yeah. And then maybe a couple of the obscure Bespin guards or something, just to add something unique to if you were to do it. And then, but again, if you did it modular, you could do. I really like that. I really like that. Smaller, more affordable sets. If you bought them together, or you could just have them as display pieces on their own.
Yep.
Hasbro, if you're listening, that's an actual good idea. Not repainting in a slightly metallic color and charging more. I've seen so many people selling their Black Series collection.
I have. It's been nuts last few weeks.
It seems to be like a mass exodus. Like it just seems. I don't collect it. I don't have it myself, but I've just seen that if you want someone who wanted to get into it, the prices that a lot of people are selling their stuff for, just trying to get rid of their entire collection. That's it. People aren't even selling individual. People are selling their entire collection. I mean, how much does a toy company have to piss someone off for people to just almost mass exodus go, nah?
It's because it's affected all of the lines at once. I've never seen more hate for one company in my life over the last few weeks. They've literally managed to wind up everyone from every line on some form or another.
Yeah, I don't think any lines escaped it, actually. I'm trying to think of it. G.I. Joe, maybe.
But so yeah, Marvel and G.I. Joe seem to have escaped it a little bit, mainly because people from those lines open them. Star Wars collectors, the majority of the time, don't open their products. So Marvel Legends are made to be opened, let's be honest. But Star Wars people don't open theirs. I'm one of the rare few that do. Yeah.
Yeah, we're a dying breed, Ash.
So I think a lot of people do keep them on cardback. As soon as Hasbro went, we're going to change up the design of the box again, and then we're going to. It's like there's no continuity to the boxes in any way, shape, or form now.
No, but it's also the costs of them though, and it's like someone did the little example of like what counts as a deluxe now. Like this whole deluxe thing is such a fabricated load of bollocks.
Yeah.
And like in the vintage collection, they did this. They did a Boba Fett Morag or whatever, and all it has is shoots the missile out of his backpack and it's like or something. Like, it's got some rocks, and it's just like, but it comes in one of those deluxe boxes that used to have like the size for 2 or 3 figures, and it's like, why is this more? And it could have easily fit on a vintage collection card still, but it's just like, but they're charging like a deluxe price, and it's on the whole, there's not much. However, I will say, the latest vintage collection reveals they had, the accessory count in all of them was actually really impressive. It was the most sort of, I kind of wondered if, because they have to raise the prices, that with those, they're going, we really need to put more in the box.
that's the thing though. The Star Wars is weird because like Marvel, when it's the Marvel guys that do something, it's the same three or four people that design them, regardless of what line it is. With Star Wars is so broken up because like you've got Patrick and his team doing the Black Series, but then you've got I think she called Michelle or something. She deals the TVC, and then there's a completely different team that do retro. So I just don't understand. There's no continuity between any of the lines.
No, I mean I mostly now just look out for retro, and occasionally the other thing I look out for is vintage stuff, vintage collection that I can use for my retro.
Yeah.
Oh my stuff, like the play set. Because I still haven't got the Navarro set because I just, you know what, I can't justify the price of it.
No, it is very expensive.
It's too expensive for what the size. Yeah, I mean, it's more expensive than the bloody carbon freezing chamber playset. And while that is only half playset, it's still a bigger half of a playset. I know it's got lots of accessories, but again, I don't think I'm going to have trouble getting it for cheaper in the future. Does it have a packing? Does it have a packing figure?
Yeah, it comes with a Death Trooper.
Probably, I see what they're selling for individually, and see if I can do what I did last time.
I know. At the minute, HMV in the UK have got the Navarro canteen sets, and they're about 40 quid in there. So it is high for what it is. I got mine because I'm slowly but surely changing mine into Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities. I'm slowly modifying it piece by piece.
Turning something into do with Galaxy's Edge.
I know. I have my little cage and everything to put him in, to put my little Doc Ondar in, and I'm slowly changing it bit by bit.
See, how is there not like a little Galaxy's Edge set yet? You know, like a diorama set.
Don't know how, because like everyone says, oh, but Galaxy's Edge got the Droid Depot set. I'm like, well, technically that's a Kenner set. The Droid Factory was a Kenner set.
Yeah, so I would
don't class that as Galaxy's Edge, really.
Vaguely call that. Yeah, that's vaguely that. But you know, that's the thing about Star Wars. Though. It's always so divisive about like with people and stuff because, like with the fandom, I still maintain Star Wars fans are both the best and the absolute worst out there.
Yeah,
100%. But when it's good, it's good. But I do think there's going to be a real shift for Hasbro soon because of. I don't think I've heard that much positive come out from SDCC. I've heard less. I've seen more people annoyed about stuff or being excited, which is a really weird. It's a weird feeling because normally people come out of that going like, "Oh, did you see that? Did you see that? Did you see that?" And it's going to be really interesting what happens at HasCon in a few weeks' time because obviously that's going to be just focused on Hasbro, and it's going to be really interesting what people's reactions are.
I mean, really.
You have your big fan and they'll just celebrate it regardless, but like, I want to know what actual fans are going to react like.
Yeah. Well, we know that they've extended the license in 2022. No, 2020. Hasbro got the extension of the license, but I can't remember how long it was for. But I'm wondering whether Disney will eventually sort of go, there's enough upset to warrant a change of company for the first time in a long time. There's enough upset across the range right now for Disney to go, we'll pull away from Hasbro and maybe give Mattel a shot, or someone else, McFarlane, might even fall to it.
I mean, Mattel, they are pretty on point at the moment, Mattel.
Mattel.
I only got to look at their Masters of the Universe line to go, oh, that's a franchise being held done properly.
Do you know what? Mattel are very similar to Hasbro in a lot of ways, but the Mattel's creation over HasLab is a better system.
So much better.
And they have not had that much fail, have they, so far, Mattel Creations? Because they know the target audience.
Anything fail, have they?
I can't, off the top of my head, I don't know, but I know they've had a lot of projects and they've all gone through.
Yeah, because they basically go like that because you want this done. I'm just checking out on the old Mattel Creations website now. Barbie Core inspired by. Okay, thank you. That's good.
It's like they brought back the Street Sharks, didn't they, for Mattel Creations, and that went down an absolute storm.
because let's be honest, sharks are still awesome. They're still radical. They're the most radical sharks on the street. That's my best hope for like a mass branded Bucky O'Hare. I mean, I know sort of some people have, but like, it's good.
And let's be honest, the fact that at San Diego Comic Con, Mattel Creations said we're going to release the best Jurassic Park item you could ever want, the T-Rex munching the dude on the toilet. That's
it's a weird thing, but people do want it.
And that's it. It's one of the things that you kind of go, that's weird, but I like it. I want one.
Because it's a weirdly iconic scene, a guy being eaten on the toilet. When you gotta go, you gotta go.
So yeah,
I think that brand done very well as well. Again, Jurassic Park.
Mattel Creations in general have just done really well.
Yeah, I've been looking at some of them, but it's going to be interesting to see anyway. I mean, I'm looking forward to. I think the problem is like Hasbro keep trying to do this thing where they kind of keep trying to diversify rather than just focus on something properly, like fully.
Yeah. Me and Jacob were talking last week. They seem to be doing away with the Bath figures in Marvel piece by piece now. Because have you noticed like every other Marvel release isn't a wave figure? It's coming in that fancy new Spider-Man style box, and it's now a special edition figure.
Special edition is code for we don't want to have to do good.
Yeah, so like all the new Spider-Man figures, once upon a time, they would have just been a wave. It would have just been a Spider-Man wave, and you'd have got a Bat figure at the end of it. Now they're calling it the 60 years of Spider-Man or whatever, and they're not giving you a Bat figure. They're just giving you a fancier box.
Yeah, it's interesting, like as well with the packaging sort of argument, that the changes, like because as a bit like you, I'm not a mint in box collector at all. Like I get my stuff and I open it. But, I like the card backs, because like for example, I do keep it. I open them very carefully, and with a craft knife, and I open them, and I really like the card backs, and I do keep them. I don't keep all the boxes for everything. Some things do go, like a lot of the Transformer ones, but so good packages there. But it's interesting they committed saying that the vintage collection, like what they consider to be the collector's figures, are the ones that are still keeping the plastic in it. But I would have always said Legend was for the Black Series for adults, because that's the people they're trying to capitalize on that MCU sort of Marvel Legends sort of market. I mean, I've never understood why they started doing the Black Series. I don't think they ever needed to do it, but they just tried to capture a market. And the problem is, and I always said this, they'll start a market, and then I don't think they'll ever be able to see it through fully, because you've done one scale for, like, even when it was, obviously I know Kenner was bought out by Hasbro, Kenner, but Star Wars has been one scale for predominantly one major, primarily one scale for years, and I just don't see them committing to that forever. I don't think Black Series is going to be that last forever.
No, I think Black Series is on the next couple of years. Yeah, Black Series right now is on its deathbed. For me, for a lot of people, I know for me especially, like when they announced the San Diego Comic Con exclusive was a Boba Fett now painted black, and it's the same Boba Fett you've had 6 times before it. So it is based on a comic book, and everyone kicks off because it's not the new mold of Boba Fett, which fair enough, it shouldn't be, because it's based on a comic book that is set between Empire and Jedi. So technically he's in the right costume, but it's an old figure painted black, and you're charging $33.99 for the privilege. If they'd have released the same figure painted black and charged $22.99, the regular going rate, I don't think there would have been any moans. But the fact that you've done a repaint figure for $33.99 just made everyone go, nah, bored now.
Yeah, because that's the other thing as well. Like, the money is just going less. It's not going as far anymore. And people are being very picky about what they are buying.
Yeah.
Like what I collect, I'm having to be very careful about what I get. That's why I'm being very good at sticking to very certain lines. So like even with Transformers, I love all the new stuff, but I'm sticking to just the Studio Series 86. I'm just getting the characters really, because I can't afford to start going off and getting all those, especially if you've got the Star Wars retro, Marvel retro. That's basically it. I keep it retro now. because I can't afford to do anything else.
So like I did a little trip to the toy store today, and I managed to spend 33 quid. I was like, ooh, but I got 5 figures out of it. So I was quite impressed with myself. Yeah, quite impressed with myself. So, but then I realized at the time, like I was at the film with my wife, and she said, you know, that's the price of 1 Black Series now. And I've managed to get 5 figures out of it just because I'd shopped smart.
That's a depressing statistic, isn't it?
It is really horrible. It's like Star Wars is my main bread and butter collection. It's the main thing I love more in the world. But when I said in my video, when they start outpricing you, it's like, ugh.
Yeah, it's almost like they don't want you to collect multiple things.
How it feels, yeah.
Or be able to afford the thing you do want. Whereas, you know, you can just go to the Kintos and start collecting this highly articulated, amazing line of figures. You know, and it's in plastic packaging. You'll all be happy to know as well, so you can still see it. It's vaguely articulated. It kind of counts. Every now and again, the light just comes on for no reason, and I'm pretty sure this thing's haunted or possessed. I don't like it, but I love it.
At some point, that thing's gonna go pop. Don't you?
No, at some point it's going to be that. If I go missing, everyone remember that was here, and if they can't find that in the house and I'm missing, you know what happened. That thing came alive, grew full size. I woke up seeing that face, disappeared off the face of the earth into the other realm that he apparently resides over.
Oh wait.
Nope, definitely going to kill me. So what have we got coming up next week? I mean, we haven't got any TV shows. I mean, when does
So next week's episode, by the time we're on next week's episode, we'll hopefully have seen the new Lego Star Wars, and we should hopefully have watched Prey. So a few things to talk about next week. She-Hulk. I think that's another couple of weeks away. It's like the 14th, I want to say. She-Hulk release day. 17th of August. We've got a few weeks for that one.
Oh man, it's going to feel ages. I mean, I actually haven't even finished Miss Marvel yet. I'm saying that I haven't finished Miss Marvel yet still.
Oh, have you not? Oh,
no, I've not had a chance to. I only got like 3 episodes in before I went on holiday. I did finally see Thor.
Oh, Thor's alright. I like Thor. Ending's a bit meh, but I like Thor.
Yeah, I thought it was like I laughed quite a lot throughout of it. Like the problem is, I think everyone expects every single one of them to be a masterpiece. Like we're like 30 films in or whatever we are now. Yeah, like, and there were some bits I wouldn't have done, but then I don't make films, so I'll shut up.
Yeah, the one thing I didn't like is, and I know it's probably an unpopular opinion, but I didn't like the fact that he took the guy, the girl at the end, and they were Love and Thunder, and
yeah, I thought that was a bit.
That was a bit that felt
forced. It seemed a bit shoehorned to add in.
Yeah,
and it's interesting that Thor will return. So this is not his. This isn't his final film. They made that very clear at the end of the credits that Thor will return.
Yeah,
I liked the bit seeing that Jane and Heimdall were in Valhalla. I liked seeing that. That was nice.
That was cool. And I did like the cheesy bit where they kind of explained why, for the MCU at least, why the hammer came to her and stuff, because Thor kind of wished that the hammer would protect her always, kind of thing. I thought that was kind of cute. I like that.
Yeah, it was a very human touch.
Yeah, he gave it a meaning, because in the comic books they never really explained why, other than the fact that she was just worthy.
Yeah, it just adds something extra. I do love the way they characterize Stormbreaker, like when he's talking to Hammer, and then the Stormbreaker just slowly appears from the side.
Yeah, they did that very well.
The one thing that did bug me a little bit, they made a big point about like building up to it, about sort of celebrating and exploring Valkyrie's and stuff like that, showing a bit more of that. But they did a isn't that the Loki thing? Yeah, they did it like Loki, they said, oh, Loki's going to be the first sort of bisexual rep properly done on, but he mentions it roughly in passing. It's kind of like Disney keep being afraid to just
go whole hog on it.
Eternals, and they actually, it was great. In Eternals, they actually showed, a gay couple. Oh wait, look at that. It turns out they're normal people as well. You know, like, thanks, Disney. We are human beings. Thank you. So I kind of get excited because obviously there's not a lot of bisexual representation. A lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of nice to see. You know, yourself, like you said, your own identity and experience. So I was a bit disappointed because they said that that was something they explored, and I got quite excited about that because they said being a bisexual myself, I kind of was thinking that'd be nice to see my people on the screen, and it just it was that thing where it just felt like it was a couple of comments just quietly put
shoehorned
under the radar.
Yeah,
I'm just going to hide it under this rock so that we can still play mostly in China. But yeah, I mean, I like the fact they did the thing with the call, like the call bits, but it's just like they made such a point about a Valkyrie, and then they just seemed to almost chicken out on it. I was like, oh.
You wait till you see. Yeah. You wait till you see Lightyear, and obviously Lightyear wasn't allowed to play in China because of the lesbian reference in it. And you should see how long.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah. So basically Lightyear, he's a married man when he leaves, and he comes back, and his wife has fallen in love with another woman, and that she's now married to this other woman, and they're raising the kid together, and kind of Buzz is kind of left like he can be a part of it if he wants to, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this is all they do, like a montage, a bit like the opening for Up.
Yeah.
It's very much in the vein of Up, to be fair, like the prequel story bit, and they do this whole little like intro bit. And there's all it is. The only reference to these two women being lesbians is the fact that Buzz Lightyear's wife kisses her on the cheek. That lasts all of a split second, right? Blink and you've missed this whole scene. You don't even realize they're a gay couple. But because of that one little kiss, it's not allowed to be played in China.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like,
hey, China, if you're watching this, get over it.
Yeah, it's like, that is pathetic.
I do like when companies are now refusing to edit the films, though, because yes. I do think it's right. You should stand by those things. Like like if you made a film, you should stand by your work.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
It's just wrong as well. Not this time, China.
Well, it's like when they made the live action Beauty and the Beast, and they got told to can they play down LeFou a little bit, and they're like, no, that was perfectly done.
Yeah, Josh Gad was
the perfect casting for that ever.
Yeah, 100%. And I've just realised I can't sexually spell.
It's like the whole thing is like, even in the cartoon, the fact that he's mildly obsessed with him is kind of written in the undertone of the whole thing.
Yeah, it's not a big stretch for the imagination. It's not a big rewrite for the character. Oh, so good. No, you make me love you in a minute. Next time you make me question you. It's such a kind of confusing. It's a confusing relationship we have with Disney. But I think that was pretty much it, really, isn't it? I mean, I can't think of anything else come up, really.
I can't believe we've managed to talk this long.
Oh, I can, because I basically can't bore Caroline, like my other half, with this for a week. This is my weekly outlet. I just talk nerdy stuff just to get it out of my system. It's just like me having a cigarette at the end of the day.
just because I know that Jacob's going to ask me in post-production when he's editing this later, what on earth are you doing, Sorrell? I can hear lots of button pressing. Just to put it out. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, is that the new game? Is that the new one?
The new one, the Shredder's Revenge one. It's really good.
Is it good?
It is actually really good.
Have you seen the Cowabunga collection coming out?
Yes, I'm so looking forward to it.
Can't wait for that.
This new one, the thing is, when this came out, it instantly came onto that Xbox Game Pass, so you didn't even have to pay for it. As long as you have Game Pass, the whole game's free.
Oh my god, I've got Game Pass.
Yeah, so this is free. This is a free game to play. And yeah, and basically it's a long game. It's not like it's a cheap little game. It's a full-on long game, and it's just pick up and play. You can't really die. You've got unlimited lives, and you're just wandering through like old school 2D side-scroll levels.
Streets of Rage, beat 'em up style. I mean, that's the thing. That's proper classic. They're starting to realise now you don't have to make a super hyper-realistic 3D game now for it to be awesome. one of the best Sonic games that's come out in the last sort of like 10, 15 years is Sonic Mania, which was just made by Sonic fans, and it was like it's amazing. It's brilliant. It's like one of the most popular games. And then they announced a new 3D Sonic game, and everyone's like, "Stop it! Just go back. We told you what we liked."
Just make another 2D side scroller, please.
Yeah, make Sonic Mania 2, please. The world of computer games, very crazy. Well, I think that's probably about. I mean, Jason asked what we talked about, and now I can't even remember. But that's going to be. So, if the title card looks weird when you see this, like when you click on it for this episode, apologies, we can Jason thing. Should we just tell Jason random stuff? On the title, if he even watches what we've said, he just takes our word for it.
I know. Jim, we talk about My Little Pony.
Gummy bears and Tasmanian Devil. That's just and the Looney Tunes babies. That's what we talked about. I do. On the title card. I'm sure we can write it down afterwards, make it up. He'll guess. Star Wars and then probably a Hasbro thing, but the O's been changed to a sad face maybe. But I know we've probably said a few bad words about Hasbro, but I do like Hasbro. I just don't like a lot of the decisions they're making at the moment. I just don't think they're smart or in fans' interest. A lot of them. Yeah,
that's why I said it's a love-hate relationship. Because deep down, you see a Boba Fett spray painted black, and you go, "Oh no, it's a re-release of a paint." And then the other half of me is going, "Oh, cool! It's from the comic books. I must own you." So you can't balance. Win. It's a love-hate relationship.
It is. But still, we're giving them ideas for HasLabs for a New Hope and Empire. So let's see if it is.
It's like, can I go to Smith's and can I see that they've got Tika the Jawa from Kenobi, and it's just the same Jawa but with a jacket on, and they now charge me 30 quid for the privilege? But do I want it? Yes.
I do not want it. I would stick to I'm still waiting for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. I might get a you know that Razor Crest you got, the smaller one.
Yeah.
I might get one of those to convert that for a retro collection, because I think I could just cut out some of the things for it.
Well, I'm interested because the Mission Fleet line, obviously that's like 2.25 inches, is it? They're releasing that weird camel thing that Kenobi rode on, that camel-y monster thing. They're releasing one of them, so I'm like, I hope my vintage figure sits on it.
Oh, interesting. But yeah, so I think I'm going to convert the Mission Fleet Razor Crest into a retro Razor Crest. I think it's going to take a little bit of work.
Before we go, I have to share this with you now. So Jazzwares aren't immune to being stupid either. So you know the spaceship line from Jazzwares?
Oh, okay.
You know, they released, I did a video the other week and it was the X-Wing and the TIE fighter.
Yeah.
Well, I've now finally got a hold of a Sarge Ventress ship, which extends. Ooh, looks pretty. The thing is, it fully extends, but the problem is, when you fully extend it and put the wings all the way around, like it's meant to, it no longer sits on the stand. They didn't make it compatible with to have the full wingspan out with its own stand. They should have made it extend or something. So you have to have the wings half. So you have to close one of the wings in and then display it, which just doesn't look right, and you've got to fold the bottom one in. So you've got to have like the half wingspan just to get it to display, because they put it on the little stand.
That is such a
irritates me. Because it's a Sarge Ventress ship, it's got the little giant wingspan with the guns on the top and the bottom.
I'm really impressed with that. Who's the company I'm making these?
So these are Jazzwares.
So are they a subscription thing, or?
No. So Jazzwares were the people that made all the Fortnite figures a while back before McFarlane did. And these are just in Smiths right now. They vary between £10 and £15, depending on the style of ship.
Oh, this is the new, basically, Action Fleet line, isn't it?
Yeah. It's the new Action Fleet line.
Like, yes, because I've seen them really good. I didn't know they didn't on it.
Yes, like the little cockpit opens, and I've got tiny Asajj Ventress.
That's really cool. That is very old school action fleet, which to this day, I think it's one of my favourite lines. And I've actually got somewhere laying around. I've got a mint in box Y-wing action fleet. I've got it to hand. I think I've got it to hand. Oh yeah, there it is.
Oh wow. Yeah, they're just like that. They're exactly like that.
Oh, when they say all the what I miss stuff like this on the back of the boxes. What else is available in the collection?
Yeah,
Stars wasn't even.
No, yeah.
This was made.
It wasn't even a thing back then. I really wish that the Jazzwares would have got the rights for that Action Fleet line or something, so they could call it Action Fleet, because that's what it is, basically. It's the same thing.
Yeah. I'm a banger from that, and that's the line that they've all been raving about, saying what good quality they are. So that could be a dangerous thing to get into.
It is when like a ship like that is 15 quid. And it's teeny tiny, really, for what it is. But it's like when I saw it, I said,
"That's awesome."
I justified it by saying it's Asajj Ventress. When do you ever see Asajj Ventress merchandise? Ever?
Never anymore.
Exactly. That's what I like. Like I'm buying it because it's Asajj Ventress.
That's a cool big retro style with Asajj Ventress. I would think that would look really good. I mean, I have to try and make that. Might get customized. See if I can make a retro Asajj. Cool. All right, and I guess that probably brings our amazing week to a close. And also, because I mean, you've got to crack on and play Ninja Turtles, to be fair. You got to be a hero show. Right. Now, one very important thing: rock, paper, scissors for who gets to say the end line. 1, 2, 3, show. Damn it. 1, 2, 3, show. Damn it. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. The thing is, Jake's gonna edit it just as I'm about to say it. He's gonna edit it and cut it and put himself saying it. I bet you anything. If you're watching this and you're listening to the end, I bet you this bit doesn't make it in. So that's all we got time for. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Have a look at the videos and the link in the description below. Until then, one thing left to say.
As if I was going to let you take that, Ryan. Till next week, keep it geek.
The Geek Week in Review.